My name is Susan Baldwin, and I'm actually in a parish in New Zealand on the South Island, and here for study leave. I've got an opportunity for 3 months, and 2 of those months are being spent here in England.
Now, you're clearly a global jet setter because your accent isn't
Yes.
from New Zealand.
Originally ordained in Canada 30 years ago now, and we had an opportunity to go to New Zealand when my husband and I were trying to discern where's God calling us next. Came New Zealand, and we were there in the midst of the earthquakes and find ministry very much still 6 years later shaped
Dealing
by
with that.
recovery
And near the Christchurch area.
Yeah,
you
just
said.
west of Christchurch in a rural patch that goes across the South Island to the mountains. And so it's the main part is only about 26 miles wide, but it does go up to about 100 miles wide. And when we get up to the mountains to get up to Arthur's Pass, it's quite wonderful.
You're on the Germinate Arthur Rank Centre mailing list, so you get the resources through.
Get the resources through that. I mean, even in Canada, would hear of the Arthur Rank Centre, and we're getting the emails. And when I was in New Zealand, getting the emails, knew I wanted to do a study leave, and because of the rural context, I've always felt called to rural ministry. So anything that can help that, and there are many more resources now than when I started 30 years ago. People are reflective practitioners that say, hey, this works, let's write about it. Hey, have we thought about this? Let's do some more writing. And so the Arthur Rank Centre has been a real godsend to those of us in rural ministry, I have to say. So it was an opportunity to come to Germinate, because I thought, right, that's exactly the kind of stuff I'm working on right now. It's discipling and mission in the rural church, and what are some of the new best practices? What's working here in England, and even across England, different contexts for different places. So it's going to be the same in New Zealand. We'll borrow some ideas, but it'll still have to be tailored to fit a New Zealand context. Yeah.
So what have you picked up today here at the conference that's really
well, I've got I've got a list of ideas and resources. Partly, I mean, it's going to take a while actually to kind of synthesize it all. Gosh, I think the highlight really for me has been an opportunity to listen to some of the other clergy and lay people. Some of their concerns are the exact same concerns, so we know we're on the same ground for rural parishes in New Zealand as well as in England. So some resources that I'm going to be able to take back, share with other clergy, share in my parish, and sometimes it's just a sort of one-off idea. Oh, I'm going to preach with that, or somewhere else it's here's some real best practices I've learned about where discipling has worked well, where congregations mostly are outward facing. We've come to the place where Anglicans just don't automatically germinate in our parishes. We actually have to go out and plant seeds and water and nurture and grow.
So it is a good title for a conference.
Very good, yeah. So it's, I think, because probably the highlight in summary would be being very intentionally outward facing, and where churches are sort of busting out of their doors and being sent and being mindful of what are we sent out to do, where's God calling us to be, and what's God calling us to do.
When there was an opportunity this morning for delegates to share some of their best practice, as it were, you spoke, and that's where people were paying attention. So what was it that you were able to offer this morning?
Well, there were two that we were talking about. One was a community garden that we have a small wooden church built in the late 1890s, and we're on 4 hectares of land. It's like, what can we be doing? What is God asking us to do this? And it's a small town without a hub, without a community area. There's like a petrol station and a pub. And the pub is fairly exclusive to a certain group of the people it's not like the village pub here. And so we've started a community garden. They've started digging up the property and planting gardens, and it's fascinating. The Facebook page has got a list of names I don't even recognize, which is fabulous, because it means there's so many people getting on board with this community garden project. Part of it will be, let's grow vegetables and fruit for our area, but we know we're going to have extras. So let's make sure that there's an element of giving and taking care of the wider community. So that's going to go to the local food bank and of the small community, as well as the city, which is only about 25 kilometers from the village. So that's one we're rather excited about at the moment.
Really exciting.
Yeah.